Hello everyone, I'm Tola and today we're going to play as the Republic of Venice in Europa Universalis 5. Venice is one of the richest nations in Italy and has one of the most powerful navies in the game. However, not everything is perfect. As you can see, we start cornered by Verona and Aquileia with not enough military power to stand a chance against them, so we'll have to make use of our diplomacy and our money to succeed in this campaign. This video can be used as a guide to learn not only about Venice and Italy, but also for most of the game mechanics, and if you'd like to see a second part about it, let me know by liking, subscribing and leaving a comment below. Now, enough with the yapping, let's start with our setup. So the first thing we're going to do is to select our rivals, and these are going to be Verona and Aquileia. Of course, we want to fight both of them to expand on the closest areas to our capital. Then we are going to secure a royal marriage with whoever we want, but I'm going to do Bologna because they are a big nation in Italy. Then we need to give a better education to these children, and in this case, as you can see, Susanna has an ambitious trait, so she's going to get more admin ability. So what we're going to do now is to give her an admin education, and then we're going to do the same with all the other guys. This guy is a prodigy, for example, so we are going to check the next one. Mil or Diplo, we're going with the next one, intelligent, yeah, so we can do whatever. Let's do Diplo with this guy and Mil on the prodigy, just like this. Well, we're also going to give Mil to this guy. Yep. With our diplomats, we want to start improving the opinion of our vassal, Trieste, because we want to annex them. They give horses, as you can see. And Upper Bavaria, because they're the emperor. And if we want to attack Verona, well, they are going to defend them. So if we ally Upper Bavaria, they are no longer going to defend Verona. Then for the cabinet actions, we're going with the classic converting and assimilating our capital, because yeah, it's where we get more money from because of our control. And we're also going to assign someone that's part of our state as cabinet members, just as these two guys, for example, and let me make one of them the head of the cabinet. This is because we want to get more crown power, and as you can see, this buffs our crown power. Then we're going with the classic Italian advanced tree. Institution growth, because most of the institutions in the age of the Renaissance spawn in Italy. Diplomatic capacity, because we need to have many vassals and alliances in Italy. And then max RGO and maybe construction speed. If we reach the age of the Renaissance before we finish this construction speed, then we're going to cancel it and get something else. Then we have to go to our states tab, and as you can see, this is a mess and a disaster, because the burghers hold half of the state's power in our country, and on top of that they have some very bad privileges, such as this one, Libre d'Argento, or this one right there, burgher land rights. And you might think, well, at least the nobility isn't that influential in this game, right? Yeah, no, they still are very influential. It takes us 100 stability to revoke a privilege, and they have privileges as bad as this one, Zonta, which gives us less 25% crown power. So yeah, we'll have to work on this later, but we're still going to grant some privileges, just as this one, represented in parliament to the commoneers, embellish great works of faith for our clergy, and maybe even something for the nobility to make them a bit happier. Let's go with elite council, for example. Yeah, and this is also because we want to make some of the other states more influential, more powerful, to make our burghers less influential and powerful. Then, as you can see, we have land not only close to Venice, where we have very good control, we also have southern Dalmatia, where we have decent control, but we also own a lot of Greek islands where our control is 5. So yeah, you can either just tank this bad land for yourself or release them as vassals. I'm going to release them as vassals, I'm going to create custom subjects in every island I have down there. Now, do you need to do this? No, you don't, because they are also part of your course, right? And if you stack maritime presence, you can fix this very easily, but it takes a bit to get until maritime presence is a thing. So in the meantime, I'm going to release a vassal, but again, this is completely up to you, and you don't need to do this. So what I'm going to do is to just select subject type, vassal, and assign anyone from my burghers, just like this. And then I'm going to do the same with every other island I own. Look for some burghers such as Costanza. Okay, and then the same. Doing this will also take us a lot of our diplomatic capacity, and if you check what's being more expensive for us, as in diplomatic capacity, you'll see Ragusa has a disproportionate cost of diplo capacity, so you might want to start improving their opinion to annex them ASAP to get rid of them. Then we need to fix our sliders just like this and start spending some of our money in getting more money, of course. So we're going to open the RGO builder because RGOs are more profitable than anything else, especially early on. And we're going to prioritize Chioggia because it produces salt. And then we're going to do some expansion in Venezia and Mestre, maybe even in Rovinj. But yeah, we're not going to spend all of our money because we're going to get some flood events early on, so save a bit for that. Now we can just select the speed we want and unpause the game until we get our first set of events. See, these are the events I mentioned, but before going with them, I'm going to check if we can ally Upper Bavaria. So we're going to open all diplomatic actions, and yes we can, so we're going to offer an alliance to them. And we're going to declare on Verona as soon as we can. Not yet, but we're going to do it at some point. Now, we have these two events, the flooding of Venezia, and I recommend taking this option because you lose less prosperity and less population. And this is the political landscape of Italy. Interesting times are ahead of us. This refers to the Guelphs and Ghibellines situation. Now the thing is, there are two factions trying to take control over Italy. One is led by Naples and the People's State, and the other one is led by Upper Bavaria. Who do we join? That depends. Usually the easiest way to play is to join the Ghibellines because the Holy Roman Emperor is stronger and because this allows you to easily join the Holy Roman Empire, allowing you to declare on the nations that are part of the Holy Roman Empire without having to fight the Emperor as well. Now, the thing is, after some time, we're going to get another situation called the Italian Wars, and we'll have 6 factions instead of 2, and one of these 6 factions has to take over 200 locations in Italy. If you allow the Holy Roman Emperor to win this situation, the Guelphs and Ghibellines, everything in Italy will be part of the Roman Empire, aside from the Papal States and Naples maybe. And you might already know what does this mean, and if you don't worry because I'm going to explain it to you. If we hover over the Duchy of Upper Bavaria, as you can see, we'll see they own some random land across the Holy Roman Empire they shouldn't own, just like these 2 locations up there and this one down there in Verona. This is because they can demand some provinces and keep them for themselves. So they are going to do this a lot in Italy if they win and they integrate Italy into the Holy Roman Empire. Now, you might also know that there's an upside and a downside for anything you pick. I'm going to go with the Guelphs, even though it's harder, just because I want to prepare for the Italian wars. But if you want to have an easy time, go with the Ghibellines and completely ignore the Italian wars. See, this is the event where you can choose who do you want to side with, and I'm going to side with the Pope, as I said. Also, this is something very important. This isn't supposed to be scripted, and I don't think it is. But I've played 3 games as Venice already, and in every single game I played, I've got a new outbreak in the state of Venice. Every single time. So yeah, we have to, of course, go and make a recovery effort in Venice. See, I even got it a second time. It makes no sense, but I did. Now this is a very important event, League against Della Scala, who's the ruling family of Verona. And as you can see, you can pick either this option, losing 20 Republican tradition, a bad option, or this one, which makes you get antagonism centered around Verona, not so important. But also, you promise Milan you're going to help them in the war they will declare against Verona the next year. What does this mean? It means you will be able to fight Verona without Upper Bavaria intervening. Now, the thing is, Milan will be the war leader, and while they will help you beating Verona, you will also most probably not be able to get anything. The max you can do is sieging down Treviso and maybe Vicenza and Belluno, but the Veronese armies will come and just clear everything, and you'll have to retreat to Venezia because you can't fight armies that are 4 times your size. And on top of that, Milan will most probably not give you anything. Max 1 location, which isn't bad, but yeah, it's not a big thing either. So what I recommend doing is picking this second option, because if you keep improving relations with Upper Bavaria, at some point you will be able to declare on Verona while they are at war with Milan. So it will be easier to fight them. And you'll do it by yourself. Yes, you might not be able to siege down Padova and Verona, but it's completely fine. So I'm going to go with the second option. This is the next important event, Domini di Terraferma, and this event gives you a Casus Belli, claims on Venice, on Verona, that is also a very good Casus Belli actually, because you get less than 25% cost to subjugate and conquer, meaning that you will be able to get many more provinces than the ones you would get if you fought against Verona siding with Milan, right? You can also pick this option and just lose prestige. I don't know why would you do this, but you can also do it, it's an option. So I'm going to click on the let us press our claims, and while I could declare already, because Upper Bavaria is not going to help them, I will wait a bit until Milan beats the shit out of Verona, right? So yeah, let's keep waiting and track how does the war go. Now at some point you will have enough relations with Upper Bavaria, meaning that if you try to declare war on Verona, Upper Bavaria is not willing to help them. Now, once this happens, you have to go select claims on province and declare war. See, now we don't have to fight their vassals anymore because Milan has released every vassal Verona had. Now the thing is, they still have a big fort in Verona and another one in Brescia, meaning that even if we have more troops now, it will still be a hard war, so beware of what you do, right? Now the thing is, we have to raise our levies, of course, and we're going to raise them in Venezia. You can also raise them in Istria, Lica and Dalmatia, but yeah, as you can see, we can't get many levies from there. So what else do we have to do? We have to move our ships to the Gulf of Venice. This is because we might need to escape at some point during the war. And if we want to escape, then we need to have access to the strait. So after recruiting our levies, we're going to move our troops to Treviso, then to Belluno, and then we're going to siege down Vicenza and Verona. Now, you also have to prepare your peace deal in advance. And the peace deal I'm going to make is this one. I'm going to take these 3 provinces from them. And the thing is, we're going to get a lot of antagonism centered around Verona, meaning that we will not be able to declare on Aquileia or Padua as soon as we finish this war. So for our first parliament, we can pick whatever suits us best, and either use this parliament support to change some law, or just pass the parliament normally and do not use the parliament support to make a claim, because if we made a claim somewhere else and declare the war, we would most probably get coalitioned. For example, I'm going to sponsor a cathedral and pass the act, because I really want a cathedral in Venezia. Remember to start the annexation of Ragusa, because as I said before, we want to free some of our diplomatic capacity, and Ragusa takes up a lot, for no reason really, because it says relative power, but they are in no way stronger than us. Now, as I said, the peace deal we want to do is this one. We want to take this province, because it's part of the Venice province, our capital province. Then we want to take Belluno, because it's a silver mine, and the silver is something we need, because it gives a lot of money, and money is something we need. Then we're also going to take Vicenza, and we're going to release it as a vassal. However, if you check this, you'll see we are most probably going to get coalition if we do this. So we're going to make them liberate Brescia from them, because this will make us lose some antagonism. We could also take the city of Verona for ourselves, but again we would get coalitioned, so we're not going to take it. Then we will also make them break the fort of Verona, and the option is right there, and we can also make them pay war reps to us and ask for some money. Then we can send a demand. Then we are of course going to start integrating the province of Venice and the province of Belluno, just like this. And then we're going to release Vicenza as a vassal. We're going to go to create subjects, historical subjects, and create the Republic of Vicenza. We're going to annex them later. Now the thing is, as you can see, everyone is very mad at us, meaning that we have to start improving opinion with everyone in this list, right? So yeah, I've already started improving my opinion with Trent and Padua, but I am also going to start doing it with Mantua, just like this. Remember to keep spending your money in improving your RGOs, just like this. Then at some point you'll get a pop-up saying that Verona is no longer a valid rival, so you are going to make someone else your rival. Who, you might ask? Well, I think ideally it should be Naples. This would make them angrier with you, and it might make them declare on you. It's not guaranteed, but it might make them declare on you. Now, why would we want Naples to declare on us if they clearly have a stronger army? Well, because we clearly have a stronger navy. And they will most probably not be able to get access throughout all of Italy to get to us. So they will need to get to us by navy. Meaning that, yeah, we will have the advantage. We won't be able to siege down the boot, but we can siege down the provinces they own in Greece and so on. So yeah, we can use this war, if they declare us, as a way to expand more in Greece and to get some money. Then, as you can see, we will also get this pop-up laws not codified as soon as we get Belluno. And You can pick many options right there, but I recommend doing export ban. Why, you may ask? Well, because even if we get less money from silver, because as you can see, less silver output, this will make everyone else, not only in our node, but also in every other node, be unable to get silver from us, making them have to pay more for the silver they want, and yeah, forcing them to buy it somewhere else. So we're going with export ban, but any of these two options is good as well, so it's completely up to you. The Age of the Renaissance. As always, we can pick one of these three focuses, and while all of them had good ideas, such as tolerance ideas for the military focus or tribute system for diplomatic focus, we are going with administrative focus because of Deus Vult. We can use this to declare on Orthodox land. Local infrastructure because of proximity cost, which is insanely important, and stability investment, which is decent. So yeah, we're going with administrative focus. Now, after annexing Ragusa, you'll see our diplomatic capacity will be way better. So this means we can start spending a lot less in diplo spending, and yeah, get ready to integrate Trieste as well. Now if you open the balance tab again, you'll see something very interesting, and this is that a huge chunk of our income comes from the trade income. And if you open the trade income, you'll see we're getting a lot of it from trade we're doing in our own node in Venezia. What does this mean? It means that we are creating our own demand. So we're not only getting money because of sheer production, but we are also getting money for the things we sell to our states in our own country. We kind of double dip the money we earn, right? So what do we do to make this keep happening? Well, of course, what we want to do is to keep expanding our geos and then make these locations produce even more by building buildings in them. And then we want to build some other buildings that need the exact same trade goods we generate as an input. This will keep the prices high and the demand high as well, while we improve our production. So we will get way more money. I'm going to go back again to this later when we start building. And after getting this pop-up, it will mean that we have improved the opinion of enough nations to avoid getting coalitioned. So now we can keep expanding. We won't do it right now because we need Casus Belli. But yeah, just so you know, we can declare wars again. And the next wars we're going to do are going to be Verona again, Padua, Ferrara, and Aquileia. Now, if we annex Verona, which we should do, we're going to start integrating it instead of releasing it as a vassal. This is because there's an event that you can get at Venice to integrate Verona 50% faster. Now, as you can see, Bavaria has broken their alliance with us, but Ludwig V is no longer the Holy Roman Emperor. Why is this? Well, because the previous emperor has died, and now Austria has the Holy Roman Emperor. So if we want to keep what we were doing with Bavaria as an ally, we have to ally Austria. Then, for the Age of the Renaissance advances, we're going to go with food production. We really have a food production issue as Venice. Then with proximity cost, and then formal city rights. We are going to urbanize a lot. Now the Black Death has started, so we're going to procure remedies, and as soon as we get the Black Death ourselves or our neighbors, we are going to isolate the country and click some more measures. We have to try to mitigate this, but we are still going to lose half of our population. Now, as I said, we're going to ally Austria because they are the Holy Roman Emperor. If Bohemia was elected, then we would ally Bohemia instead of Austria. And then we are going to spend the claims we've got declaring on Padua. If you fabricated claims for someone else, such as Ferrara, then it's completely fine, just declare on Ferrara. But I did it in Padua, so we're going to declare war. No matter who are you fighting, try to carpet siege them down as soon as possible, just so they can't raise their levies. Then just siege their fort down and annex them. There is it, we can now move our court into hiding and click on present scapegoats. We are not going to control the food market, at least yet, because what we want to do is to isolate the country, and to do that we need to have some neighbor with the Black Death on their provinces. When you fight someone and don't want provinces from them yet, at least because you would get coalitioned, try to isolate them diplomatically on the peace deal. Make them break every alliance and treaty they have. Then also ask for war reps and money, then send the demand. On top of isolating them and taking money from them, you can also weaken a nation by making them release their vassals or liberating some countries, just as we did fighting Verona, right? And also dismantling some forts is also a good idea. Now for Aquileia, we're also going to take this location right there because it's part of a province we own. Then we're also going to ask for some more money, not so much, and send the demand. Then we're going to full annex Padua. We might get coalitioned, but we don't plan to fight anyone during the Black Death, so we can send the demand. Now the Black Death has spread even more, so we're going to isolate our cities and our country as a whole. Then we can present scapegoats again, so we're going to do it. And now all we have to do is to wait and see what happens. Also try to spend the least amount of money, because sometimes you will get events such as this one that ask you to spend some money in order to reduce the effects of the Black Death. At some point we will be able to expel the sick, as long as we repeal the procure remedies first. So we're going to do this. Stop procuring remedies and start expelling the sick. At some point we get decent support in the parliament, but we don't want to fabricate the Casus Belli because we are during the Black Death or we are about to get coalitioned. Then we are going to spend this parliament support in asking for some law change. Ideally, the first one you should change is distribution of power and change it for favor of the ruler. We want to get more crown power. Once the Black Death is over in Europe, but the situation is still active because the Black Death is still present somewhere in India, then you can start repealing things. I'm going to repeal isolate the country, and I'm going to also repeal procure the remedies. Now this is something very important. If you get promote urbanization in some parliament act, then check where is it going to be promoted, right? In this case it's Belluno, and in Belluno we have silver as RGO, so we do want to have this province urbanized because we want to maximize the production of silver. Now if we get this in, say, Canada, for example, as Canada is a province where food is produced, then we have this city location rank production modifier. So we don't want to have this negative modifier in every province where we already produce food, because as you can see, Venice has an issue with food production. Be sure to build temples because of the max control you get on the locations you urbanize, just as we urbanized to Belluno, so we're going to build a temple on Belluno. Now, as soon as we finish expanding RGOs to its maximum capacity on the locations where we have decent control, it's a good idea to start improving further these locations by building things, right? So we are going to start building marketplaces in Venezia. Now, as you can see in our control map mode, we have a severe lack of control in some locations, especially on these ones up there. Now, if you also check the goods map mode, you'll see even if we have low control in Belluno, it produces silver. So we want to urbanize Belluno, eventually, of course. However, the thing is, Belluno doesn't have that many people, and we need 30k to make it a city. So we can assign one of our cabinet members to encourage the migration to Belluno, even if we are not going to urbanize it yet, just so we are ready to do so once we get enough control in it. At some point, you will get this event that allows you to start constructing a Piazza San Marco in Venezia. That gives more cultural tradition and local monthly development. And the other option is just losing prestige. I think I don't need to explain why this option is way better than the second one. Even if we don't have enough money to pay it, we can just loan up and pay later. Or we can max mint and lower our court and stability spendings to be positive after the month tick, and then we just go back to low minting and high spending. But yeah, we can do this for 1 month to avoid getting a loan. Then after finishing your research on formal city rights, ideally you would like to go into the Renaissance tree to get another cabinet member, but we can't go into the Renaissance because we haven't embraced it yet. So if you haven't embraced it, just as me, then you should go and take monthly prestige, not only because of the prestige, but also because you unlock the Inquisition law. Then you can also go for Deus Vult if you're planning to expand in Greece. I plan to do it at some point, so I'll start researching it, but if I get the Renaissance before I finish researching this, I will cancel the research and swap to the Renaissance research tree. Then, as soon as it's possible, go ahead and declare war on Verona. Be sure Austria is not going to help them, or Bohemia, if Bohemia won the Imperial crown election in your game. But yeah, as soon as you can, get a diplomat and declare on Verona, because you want to integrate this province down there, the province of Verona. You will also, as I said before, get an event to do it 50% faster. Also remember, you now own many more provinces to get levies from, so now your army is way stronger than the Veronese army, so don't be scared of it. Just go ahead and declare and raise every levy you can. Once you finish doing the research on the Inquisition law, go and click on the laws not codified pop-up and select whichever suits your gameplay best. However, I think State Inquisitors is the best out of all of them, not because of the monthly control Venetia gets, but because of the monthly progress to Innovative, which is something we want to achieve, right? So we go and click on State Inquisitors. Okay. By the way, if you ever get the chance to vassalize Croatia in any peace deal, no matter if they are a co-belligerent or a normal ally, go ahead and do it. It will save you from so many headaches. Just send a demand and click on OK. You'll see now we have kind of a lot of AI, but don't worry. It's it's completely worth it. We are now going to integrate this province, which has a city and a lot of population, and now Croatia is a vassal. It's not only a lot of land, but they also have a fort right there in Knin, and they are very important because, as you can see, we have some provinces down there, northern Dalmatia and southern Dalmatia, that will be stronger once we annex Croatia for ourselves. This is the event I was mentioning, Devotion of Verona to Venice. You can click on this and you get 10 prestige and plus 50% integration in Verona, Legnago and Peschiera del Garda, meaning that, yeah, we effectively integrate this province 50% faster, twice as fast. Also, once you get enough stability, this is the first privilege you want to revoke, Zonta, because it gives you a huge malus on crown power. Right click, OK, and boom, you've revoked it. Now the next ones will be Libro d'Argento and Burger's land rights, but this will be harder to revoke than Zonta. Time will tell if we get to do this easily or harder. Then, as long as we don't have the Renaissance, of course, the first thing we want to take is bureaucracy, because we get the bureaucracy law, of course. As soon as it's possible for you, go ahead and embrace the Renaissance, and then start advancing until you get crown power. This will also give you one additional cabinet seat. This is why Renaissance is the best advanced tree in all of the Age of Renaissance. By the way, something that helps a lot when integrating vassals is go into the diplomatic actions and press this button right here, enforce culture. This will make them heavily disloyal, but worry not, because we can fix this by improving relations and so on, and just waiting a bit. And then once we integrate them, it will be way easier to do so. It will take us half the time. Not only that, they will also start assimilating their locations into Venetian culture, which is our main culture, right? So yeah, that's probably the best tip I can give you when managing subjects, especially if they are small, unlike Croatia. Croatia is somewhat big, and managing them will be harder than it would be with some small vassal, but you can still do it, and it is still worth it. Then, after finishing to expand your RGOs in the locations where you have nice control, now it's time to multiply this income, and to do so you want to open the production tab and go to your main market, of course, Venezia in my case, and filter by doing this. Then go to the building where you get more money from and spam this building in your capital, and if you don't have more workers available in your capital, do it in another location where it's still profitable, just as Chioggia in my case and Vicenza. At some point you'll find yourself in this situation. You've expanded your RGOs on every province where you have high control. Then you go to the production tab, type in marketplace, and you'll see you've built marketplaces everywhere. And then you'll delete marketplaces and go to your most profitable buildings, and you'll see you can't build anywhere else because you have run out of laborers. Now this only means one thing. Yes, you've run out of things to build if we are referring to conventional buildings. However, there's another way to play, and this way is just go to your control map mode, select allocation. We're going to do Belluno because we want to get more control on Verona, right? And then you're going to infrastructure, roads, and you are going to start building roads in every way possible to make this location have more control, thus making you have more let's say a tax base on a province. So yeah, this is the way to go right now. Now there's also something very important to know, and this is the fact that you don't have to build only towards your capital. In this case we can't even build towards our capital because we are Venice and our capital is an isle. But imagine we treat Mestre or Chioggia as our capital, which we could do technically, but let's not get into this, right? So the thing is, you want to build from every location to any other location. This way you can get more control in every single location, because if you get a road from Mestre to Treviso, then yeah, of course you're going to get more control on Mestre and Treviso. But if you then build a road from Bassano to either Treviso or Mestre, then you're going to get more control in all of these three locations. This is why you want to build a road from every location to every other location, right? Now the thing is, we can already sum up the things we want to do to improve our economy. So let's go ahead. The first thing we've done is RGOs. This is the most profitable thing you can do on every single game. Improve your RGOs. Then go to production building after you have already expanded all of your RGOs, all of the profitable ones at least. But remember, once you get more control on other locations, you have to go back to them and expand their RGOs if you didn't in the past. Then to production and go to marketplaces, build marketplaces everywhere to get more market cap. This will help you get way more money, and then just build the most profitable buildings as long as you have laborers to do so. And if you don't, go and build bridges. Just like this, we can build 3 bridges actually. These things give you proximity. Not so much, but they do. Look, less 5% local proximity cost. And after having done all this, what you have to do is building roads from every location to every other location. But remember, focusing the areas close to your capital. After advancing sovereignty, go back again into your Renaissance tree and click on every single advance that gives you a law. Just as university, it gives us education of the elites law, so we are going for it. Then rights of the nobility gives you rights of the nobility law, and so on with every single advance that gives you a law. Now there's one last thing you have to know about the economy, and this is the urbanization. What's the urbanization? Well, the urbanization is the act of clicking this button. This button upgrades a location from a rural settlement to a town, or from a town to a city. Can we do this in every location? Yes. Should we do this in every location? No. Why? Because if you do this in some location that produces food, such as Venezia, that produces fish, then you can see something very curious. And this is the fact of cities produce less food, like city location less 33% food production. So obviously what we want to do is to open our RGO map and go to the locations that are not a city or a town and do not produce food, such as this one, Castelfranco. Castelfranco produces clay. So we are of course going to found a town in Castelfranco. If we get the money to do it, we will later upgrade this to a city. Is there more math behind this? Yes, there is. Is it worth doing the math? No, not really. Just upgrade everything that's not a food province or location. That's about it. See, now we have more max control on Castelfranco Veneto, because now it's a town. And this also allows us to build temples on Castelfranco that will give us an additional 5% control on this location. Now, there's something very important about roads. Let's say we want to connect Belluno and Trieste, because Trieste is a location where we have a lot of control, right? So let's go to infrastructure in Belluno, go to roads, and see we can't build a road to Trieste. This is because we don't have access to these locations because they are owned by some other nation that hates us. Now the thing is, you can either improve relations with them to get access to the locations to build roads in it, or just go ahead and declare war, just like this. And then piece them out. You can either fully annex them, vassalize them, or whatever you want, as long as this implies getting access to your roads. Now, after finally beating these guys who apparently cheated because they took half of Croatia's locations and provinces for no reason at all, because Croatia is my vassal and they weren't at war at any time, just when I declare on them, right? But Croatia cannot peace out by themselves. So anyway, let's peace out, send the demand, and now as you can see, if we want to build from Belluno to Trieste, as I said before, we can now finally do it, because we have access through this land, because we've just vassalized Aquileia. And finally, the Guelphs and Ghibellines situation is over. We have won, supporting the Guelphs, meaning that now if we want to declare on someone that was part of the Holy Roman Empire, such as Brescia, right there, we declare war, and as you can see, Austria is no longer willing to help them. They are no longer willing to help us either, because they've broken their alliance with us, but at least we've won by siding with the Guelphs, meaning that we no longer need Austria's help anyway. And finally, we have finished building our roads, and with this we've finished our first economical cycle. What does this mean, you may ask? Let me explain. Let's do a recap of what we've done. First, we expanded our geos in these locations right there, because we had high control in them. And then we've built marketplaces to get more market cap. Then we've built bridges. Then we've built some buildings that further increase our production in the locations where we had expanded our RGOs in the first place. And then we started urbanizing some other locations, such as Castelfranco or Belluno, and then we've started building roads. Now, if you go and check our control map mode, you'll see that we now have high control in many more locations, such as Belluno, which has gone from 30 to 32, then to 37, now to 61.5. So now we can start building in Belluno and make a lot of profit in there. We can also make it a city, which would make it even more profitable. We can also start expanding our geos in other locations, such as Castelfranco or Feltre, just like this. Also, Feltre produces lumber, which is not food, meaning that it's a good location to urbanize, just like this. Then we'll have to do what we've done over again. We have to check our control map mode, see that we have decent control in Vicenza, Padova, Castelfranco, and Ceneda. So we have to go to goods, open our geo builder, and start expanding RGOs in these locations. Then we'll have to go again to buildings, to marketplaces, after, of course, we start urbanizing more provinces, because to build these buildings you have to do it in some urbanized location. Then we'll build more marketplaces, then we'll go back, we'll build more bridges, just like this, and then we'll go back, check if we can urbanize anything. Just as Feltre, we will urbanize it, and then we'll go to any location and start building more roads, and then we'll repeat the cycle again. So this is how you build your nation economically. As you have seen, we've gone from 2 decades positive income to 73 in just a few years, or just a few minutes for the video. And if we were to do all of this again, then the income would go from 73 to around 300, and then it would go, if we do this again, from 300 to 1k, and again and again and again. Every time we do this, we will get more and more money. So yeah, this is all I wanted to show you today. I wanted to show you how to build your nation from scratch and make it a very rich nation. Now the thing is, even if this is all I wanted to show you, I could always make a part 2. And in this part 2 I would start researching to get armories and hoofness, and then maybe some other good units to start fighting more wars and expand even more, now that we have money to afford that, right? So yeah, if you wanna see such a video, let me know by liking, subscribing and leaving a comment below. But again, this is all I had for you today. So, thank you so much for watching and see you on the next one. Bye bye.